You're listening to the Rich State of Mind Show, the podcast made to make you the total package in the entrepreneurial world and give you what we call a rich state of mind. If you are here looking to learn about real estate investing, marketing, elevating your business, and developing your mindset to get to the next level, then you are at the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join our community on richstateofmind.com. Now here's your host, Anthony Ritchie.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Rich State of Mind where I'm talking to Misty Flanagan. She's an awesome entrepreneur who runs 4 businesses all revolving around real estate. She provides remodeling and construction services in the Houston, Texas area, along with running a women's real estate investment group called Her Mindset Matters. She embodies having a positive mindset and recognizing that when it comes to business, not just real estate, this is a people business. Together with her business partner and boyfriend, Jason, she has created not just success for herself, but a positive impact in her community and across the country. I really hope y'all enjoy this episode. She's actually a repeat offender. She was on episode 25 with us in season 1, and now she's back for season 3, episode 66. Also, I like this episode because it talks about her being a real estate investing coach for females mainly, but she is open to coaching men. But you don't really usually hear about real estate investing females, not that much. It's mostly the men, that dominate this type of category. So I think it's pretty cool because she inspires a lot of women, and she's easy. She makes it very easy to digest. And also, we talked a little bit about helping families that foreclose on homes, helping them find another house to live. So helping them pretty much acquire another house. So that is pretty awesome. This real estate business is not just about making money, but it's about helping people. And Misty does a great job with doing that. So please enjoy, and thank you for listening. Hey, Misty, welcome back to the Rich State of Mind podcast. You were on episode 25. We talked about your businesses. We talked about definitely talked about turnkey investments. And I love your style, by the way. I love your the buildings that y'all had built down in Houston, Texas. So awesome work. Definitely successful, you and your boyfriend. So if you could please just refresh us a little bit for those that are new to this podcast about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. And first and foremost, thanks for having me back. This is awesome. We had such a good time last time. I was hoping to be invited back. So I feel honored to be back here again, chatting with you, and congrats on the podcast, just rocking and rolling and killing it. So keep doing what you do. So I'm Misty Flanagan. I am a full-time real estate investor, and now I'm actually a real estate investing coach as well. That is an awesome business that I have added to our businesses, because why not share the knowledge and all of that and help others do that. So we're here in Houston, Texas. I do this with my boyfriend of 18 years. He has a background in construction and civil engineering. I have a background in HR and business. And we just got sick of the corporate rat race, and about 5 years ago decided to jump into real estate investing. And we've done a little bit of everything: wholesaling, flips, rentals. Our primary focus right now is new construction, and that's kind of what you were talking about. We're building a lot of townhomes here inside the Loop, and now we're actually looking at doing some more land development and doing maybe some subdivision build projects a little bit outside of Houston. So we're super excited about the growth of Elevated Development and our other companies, and I'm excited about the growth of the coaching business and helping other people step into this world and feel like they have the support and guidance to really go all in on their real estate investing goals. So it's been fun.
It has been. And I love to see growth from good people. That's one of the things I loved about the last time we talked, is that you had a good heart. You're doing this because you love to do it. And, you're not, stabbing anybody in the back in order to make sure that you succeed. So and you also was the first person on my podcast to emphasize on it's a people business, not a transactional business. So I didn't forget that. Actually, I quote you several times. I don't know if I give you credit each time, but I definitely make sure that I bring that up.
I love that. Awesome.
I want
relationships, all about relationships. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, it is. And I'm learning that more and more as I talk to more and more people on the podcast, as I've been able to, go through my own journey with real estate investing.
you'd be surprised when people like you, because that's what it is. They like you and they see that this person is not a scumbag. All right, I could do business with this individual. I'm more willing to provide you deals or probably give you referrals to other things that you may need help. Hey, you need a property manager? I actually did, man. Thank you so much, because mine sucks. So I definitely believe in definitely taking care of people and having a good impression, being a professional as well.
Yes, absolutely. You won't last in this business if you don't have, those as like core values, right? You just won't.
Yes.
So you could try, and I mean, I don't know who would want to build a business that way, but I've just noticed that, because I mean, it's a, competitive industry to be in, but the people that, thrive are the ones that really are genuine and build those relationships and build that reputation, and, are just kind of givers, in my opinion. And those are the people I know I want to work with, and that's who we've attracted, and that's why it's been as much fun as it has. So no better way to build businesses than with like-minded people that are on the same wavelength as you, and we can all just build our businesses together. That's pretty freaking awesome.
No, it is. And just real quick, because I really want to talk about our coaching, but real quick, what is your real estate portfolio looking like today? What do y'all emphasize, or what type of niche do y'all stay in with the real estate investing world?
Sure. So we really are kind of moving away from the townhouse and moving more towards these subdivision build projects. We're really looking at something that's becoming bigger now, which is our build to rent communities.
Okay.
The real estate market is very hot and people are buying houses, but what's happening is people are not able to pay the prices, or get qualified or come up. People are offering like $50,000 over ask, and bringing more to the table. People can't afford the down payments on some of these houses. It's so competitive. And so what we're finding is, one, people need to rent longer. They're waiting till maybe the market calms down. And two, we're also looking at a millennial generation that doesn't necessarily want to be a homeowner. Maybe they want to just have a place and they want to travel more, or they don't want to deal with the upkeep of being a homeowner. And so we're looking at these kind of boutique rental communities, in a sense, where they're really nicer single family homes, newer, more modern, which is cool. And people are paying more for them, right? Because they have the money to pay, $2,000 a month in rent, but maybe they don't have the money to pay a down payment. Okay. Right. So there's this, pro and con, and people, this is starting to pop up in places. And so we're really intrigued by it and want to kind of get involved in that. So that's really been our primary focus, is looking at more opportunities like that. Also, we're seeing a migration because of COVID and people being able to work from home. People are moving more out to the burbs. They don't need in the city. And so you can get more bang for your buck, and people want a bit more space after COVID, especially if they were cooped up in an apartment, they want more space, they want a yard, they want a home office. And so people are kind of migrating out to the burbs, and there's not enough homes for the amount of migration. And also there's a ton of people moving to Texas, and they need homes as well. So will we still probably build inside the loop and whatnot? Absolutely. But we are looking at kind of where the market is going and what the trends are telling us. And we're super excited to possibly be building some subdivisions. And then for us individually, like Jason and I, we're really excited about building out our rental portfolio. That's something we wanted to do and we're going to do in 2020. But I target pre-foreclosures, and obviously the auctions kind of came to a halt, and that stopped a lot of stuff. So once those come back around, we're going to be, really trying to build our rental portfolio through pre-foreclosures and purchasing properties subject to, and just utilizing those awesome creative exit strategies. So it'll be exciting.
What's your thoughts on subject to?
Oh, I love subject to.
You're not apprehensive about subject to?
I mean, there's always, in my opinion, there's always a risk in real estate, regardless.
This is true.
And so as long as you go into it knowing, a lender could call the loan due or whatever needs, you know what I mean? I think it's a great opportunity to purchase properties and build portfolios without utilizing a ton of cash. Also, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when you take over somebody else's mortgage and you start making those payments on time, it helps build their credit back up.
Yeah.
So then when they, you refi them out of the loan, they have a better opportunity to then go buy another house, where if you didn't do that, their credit may have stayed lower and it would have taken them, years longer to actually go and qualify for another loan. So in my opinion, it's a win-win, because you're helping them out of a sticky situation, but then you're also helping them get back on their feet. And for me, I have a pre-foreclosure business around not only stopping the foreclosure, but helping them start fresh. They get to work with relocation specialists and credit repair specialists, and they get moving discounts. So it's not just about stopping the foreclosure, but let's put you in a better situation that, financially you can manage these monthly payments, like a rental or something like that, right? So I built a business around that because that was very important to me. Again, going back to the relationship building, I'm building a relationship with these sellers, and I'm also building a relationship with these relocation specialists, credit repair specialists, movers. We're all kind of in it together to help these people through one of the toughest times of their lives, to be quite honest. And I really enjoy doing that. And it also sets me apart from a lot of the other investors that they're talking to, where they're just about, let me just buy your house. I'm like, hey, yeah, let me buy your house, but also let me help you start fresh somewhere else. And so I really enjoy that aspect of it, and being able to work with a team of people that also understand what we're doing. So.
And that's what I loved about you from the last time I interviewed you. When you told me about that, you were saying you have an exit strategy for these, poor individuals that are going through a bad situation. You're not just, oh, let me get the house. And it wasn't until I talked to you, and it was one other podcast I listened to, where they were figuring out a way to even help them either find another home or get them back into the home that they bought that was about to foreclose.
Okay.
But something else that you just said that I'd never heard before is that you had an exit strategy for your subject too. You refinance them out.
Yeah, you will at some point, and it kind of depends on what the loan looks like, but you do refi them out at some point, and so that they can then go and buy another house if they want to, right? So that is an option that you can. It depends on the loan situation, right, and what makes sense. But yeah,
because awesome, because I've done a lot of refinances, but I never knew it was an option to take my name completely off the mortgage.
Well, so their name
stays
on the mortgage, right? In the sub two, it's the seller, they deed the house over to you, and
deed,
you take over the mortgage payments, but their name stays on it. So if they want to go buy another house, they can't and so at some point in the loan, you can refi them out and take over that mortgage. And then they can go buy another house, and you've helped them build their credit back up, right? So that it puts them in a better situation to go get a better loan, for their next house, which is really, really cool.
Which I know they'd be eternally grateful for.
Yeah, because credit is a big deal. I mean,
yes,
they're even checking credit for employment now. I mean,
I believe that.
If you have a foreclosure or low credit or what, I mean, that can actually hurt you in getting a job or a better job. I mean, credit is really important. And so when you have that opportunity to help them rebuild that, I think that's a pretty powerful opportunity. And I go into it, how many ways can I help this family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not one, but really what all can I help them with? Because the more ways that you can help, obviously, they're going to choose you and they're going to trust you. And it feels good. I love, that's why I got into real estate investing, was to help people. That was that's my why. So I'm going to try to figure out all the ways that I can help each family that I come in contact with.
I know in Texas, a lot of people move from the West Coast over to Texas, tax-free state. That's a tongue twister, tax-free Texas. And also you can get a really good bang for your buck as far as the house that you buy with some good land. So I know that's why a lot of people move over there. You said build to rent, and the way you described it, it sounded very similar to rent to own. Is it? In what way is it related? It's not okay. So
these are strictly rental communities.
Okay.
the investors like us, right? So we'll find areas where they have or need these types of communities. Could they be next to regular subdivisions? Sure. But the
Okay.
thing is, you build these and they actually, you charge a higher rental rate. And so you have tenants that take better care of it, because sometimes you come into a situation where another subdivision that is an actual, they own the property. They're like, I don't want a rental community right next door, right? Because sometimes tenants don't care about the properties, they don't take care of it. Well, if you're paying $2,000 or $2,500 a month in rent for a brand new house, right? You're going to take good care of that.
Yes.
And so then they don't mind having that. And so it's just a different opportunity, because we're seeing it all over here in downtown Houston. There are tons of Class A condos being built, and they're they're asking $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 a month in rent, and they're filling up fast. It's because people want nice and new. They just don't necessarily want to take on being a homeowner, or they can't come up with the down payment for an actual loan, right? So that's where these build to rent, and maybe some of them would turn into a rent to own situation. I don't know. But what investors are going into this as is, I'm going to hold this subdivision, for 10, 15, 20 years. Like that, they're not planning on selling them off individually. Maybe if the tenant approached them and said, hey, can I do a rent to own? Sure, maybe, I don't know. I've never navigated those waters. I know there's a lot of legality behind it, and you got to be careful with rent to own. But these are legitimate, like build to rent communities that are being built, and that's the intent behind them. And they're really nice communities. Like, we've been driving around the suburbs of Houston, in Cypress and Tomball, just all over, to kind of do some research to see what they're building and what they look like. And they're like really nice, cool, like farmhouse, modern. I mean, they look really neat. Like, I'd live.
Awesome.
It doesn't look like a regular subdivision. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they have amenities, they have pools and gyms and, clubhouses. And so it's almost like you get all the amenities of living in a really nice, upscale, Class A condo or apartment building, but you get a single family home, 3-bedroom, 2, 3, 4-bedroom, backyard, that whole thing. So it's a pretty cool concept, in my opinion.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me thinking about my area. So Amir and I, we just bought a new home, a single family home, because we expected a bigger family and whatnot, right? So, and they just built 40 homes in this area. And you got me thinking about what everybody probably paid as a down payment to get into these homes, right? Over $500,000 homes. What if, and you made a great point, I may not be able to afford to put $30,000 down, but I can afford a $2,500 rent, and I want to live in a nice area. And we have a military area, so a lot of people, we're in and out every 3 years, 4 years, anyways. So the Vice going through the stressors of having to buy a home and then have to turn around and sell it in 3 or 4 years, and I'm not only do I have to worry about selling it, I have to buy another one when I leave. And I'm pretty sure the military is not the only job that has, that type of situation where people have to just get up and leave wherever the job is at. I could just rent out a nice house in a nice area. So you got me. I'm going to look and see in this area if that's something that we do, because I've never heard of that before. And we still have a lot of land, and we still have a lot of land where I live that is not touched.
Yeah. I mean, we've been reading about it, and we've been talking about it for a while. And then, we keep seeing that kind of REITs are coming together and doing this. And then we came across some land in Cypress, and the owner, we're potentially going to joint venture with the owner on doing this, And so we started looking into more areas where this is going on, and we're like, wow, this is actually happening in quite a few places. And then just, learning more about, like I said, the millennial generation. A lot of them don't want to be homeowners, or don't have that down payment. And so, because you got to understand who your buyers are, right? And I remember seeing all these Class A apartment buildings go up, and me and Jason are just like, there's no way they're going to fill all these. Like, they're all going up at the exact same time, and they're asking crazy rent. sure enough, they're filling up like that. I'm like, wow, okay, pay attention to this, right? And that's what we have to do as investors and business owners and entrepreneurs, pay attention to what's going on, and yeah, they're going up and they're filling up, and we're seeing now, even people moving to the burbs, this is happening. And so you got to jump on board if you can,
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great concept. Thank you for sharing that as well. Maybe this sparks somebody else that's listening an idea and wherever their area is at. Because I promise you, this is not oversaturated at least in America.
No. And I mean, depending on where you're located, like I said, I mean, there's such a need for housing here in Texas. Especially Houston is a big area where people are moving. Houston and Dallas. I mean, even still Austin's gotten pretty expensive, but there's a need for housing. There is a big need for housing right now. And that's the difference of where we are now versus like 08 and 09. Everybody's like, oh, there's going to be this huge bubble. There wasn't a need for housing as much as there is now. Like, I don't think that's going to happen because there is such a high demand for housing. People are coming here in like drones. So, in other states similar to Texas. So yeah. We'll see. I mean, you always got to pay attention to the market all the time. And, you got to pivot. If something happens, you got to pivot. We all had to pivot during COVID, and we'll pivot again. And if you just if you stay on top of everything, you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. So
I think the best of us, we definitely learned to pivot as quickly as possible during COVID. And
yeah.
It's looking back, I wouldn't go through it again, but I definitely learned a lot. Right. And moving forward, I'm looking at every other year, like, all right, this is easy. We made it through COVID. Right. So every other year after that is going to be easy. But I wanted to transition over to your coaching. So first, I want to talk about what made you want to start coaching for real estate investors.
Good question. So I was actually being coached. I hired a life and business coach. I was building these businesses and kind of feeling a little bit stuck. Like I was not, I needed some guidance, like mindset help is really what it was. And I ended up meeting a life and business. She's a passive investor in real estate, very successful entrepreneur. She had her own consulting business, and she started coaching, and she was a brand new coach, and she's like, hey, how about we jump on a call? I'm giving away some free coaching sessions. I was like, okay. I met her through my Facebook group, my women's real estate investor Facebook group, and we hit it off, and I coached with her for about, I guess it was about 6 months. And she said, I'm coaching a lot of women real estate investors, and I'm realizing that there's a lot of the same mindset things, I'm working with you on and these other investors. And she said, what would you say about starting a group coaching program together? I'm the mindset side of things, and you're the real estate investing side of things. And I was like, sure, because I was kind of thinking about, I'd been hosting, real estate investing events and whatnot for women for years. And I was coaching them without getting paid is really what it was. And, that's okay for a while, but your time and your knowledge and your expertise is worth something, right? And so I was like, yeah. And she had gone through a coaching certification. I'm like, well, she knows what she's doing. So, I'll just share the investing side. And we started doing it together in July of last year. So it's been a year now. We just actually celebrated our year anniversary. And, we started with 10 women in a group, and now we've coached, I'm on the 5th group coaching group for that. And from that, some of the women ended the program and were like, hey, Misty, would you consider working one-on-one with me? Because it was only like, at that time it was a 6-week program. Now it's an 8-week program. So, their 6 weeks was up, and they're like, hey, I really enjoyed working with you. Would you consider one-on-one? And I was like, sure, why not, right? So that's how I started one-on-one coaching. And then there's also women out there, because I only coach women right now. I am open to coaching men. That's a new thing, but I'm like, hey, why not coach men too? But there's all people out there that are not into the group coaching thing. And so I also started coaching people that way that were like, group coaching is fine, it's just not for me. And before I knew it, I had multiple clients, and I was like, well, I should probably join some sort of coaching program to help me build my coaching business. Just like I joined a real estate investing program to help me grow my real estate business, right? So I joined a coaching program. I did very well in the program. They actually asked me to become a leader in that program. And now I'm actually part of a mastermind with that. I don't know if you know the mindset mentor, Rob Dial. Have you ever heard of him?
But I'm glad you mentioned it.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I joined his program in December and never looked back, basically. I mean, my life has completely changed. I'm coaching pretty much full time now. Jason is managing a lot of the real estate stuff that we're doing. And I've coached over 60 women in helping them build their real estate investing businesses through group or one-on-one. And to be able to share what I've learned and, just helping them, support them, guide them, mindset, all of that has just been absolutely incredible, because we've talked about multiple times, building these businesses together, it really makes a difference. Being an entrepreneur can be very lonely at times. And so you want that support, you want that guidance. I think that's why people give up, is because they try and they fail and they have nobody to help pick them back up. And so they just give up, and if that's truly a dream of yours, don't ever give up, and find your tribe, find your circle, find your coach, find your mentor, find your program, pay to be a part of it. It's worth it. Let me tell you, I've paid to be in multiple programs, have coaches, and it makes a world of a difference. And I think too, when you pay for something, you take it a hell of a lot more seriously, right?
Yes.
You show up in a different way, and the person that's coaching you also, feels valued, and it's just a different dynamic, because I've coached people for free and I've coached people that have paid me, and it's just a different dynamic. And I've noticed, I even take it more seriously when I pay more for coaching, and my clients do too, and you just get more out of it. So that's kind of how I fell into it, kind of accidentally. But I always wanted to be a teacher. And now I'm realizing, like, I get to do that, but like on my own terms, and I get to pick who I teach and coach and mentor. And it's just been really amazing to watch these women grow and be a part of their journey. It's really been an honor. So yeah, I'm loving it so far.
So when I'm glad you mentioned about when people pay, right? It's a different approach. And so one thing I always hear is that when people pay, they pay attention. And Amira gets on me all the time about how I will sit down with people and explain to them what they could do with real estate investing, or just investing period, or like budgeting. And they go turn around and do the exact opposite. She was like, look, if you would have got paid $50 to do it, you wouldn't be so irritated, because at least you got paid to do it. But I like seeing people succeed. So I truly just will sit down or type up a long message to like break something down. But it helps that person, because I remember there was a story I got told where these guys, actually this husband and wife, they paid for this program. I think it was real estate investing program. And they were like, I don't really feel like going. And then the husband was like, no, we paid X, Y, and Z amount of money. We're going to go to this thing. So they went, and then, it ended up changing their lives, and they ended up investing in it. But it was just a free invitation, they probably would have like, let's stay in tonight and just order out,
Absolutely. You should just show up differently. And the value you get out of it, just everything about it is it's so different. And when you're going after something you really want, like, you want to succeed at it. You don't, they say when you're building a business, is it a business or is it a hobby? If you treat it like a business, you're going to get paid like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby, right? So you got to take it seriously. And I would rather pay somebody that knows what they're doing to help guide me and support me and educate me than maybe some Joe Schmo that's like, oh yeah, I guess you could tag along with me, and doesn't really take the time to show me what they're doing or whatever else. Like, yeah. And I have women, that don't believe in paying. It's funny. They usually say that in the beginning of our phone calls. And then by the end, they have a different thought about it. And this is what they say to me in the beginning. Well, I don't want to pay How about I come and work for you for free and I help you build your business? And I just very, very bluntly and honestly say, I don't need help building my business. I've built my business. I'm good. But you know what we can do? We can build your business. How about that? Why help me build my empire when I can help you build yours?
Yeah.
And oh, like a light bulb goes off, right? Because what's the point in them helping me build like that? There's nothing. Let's build yours. Let's build yours from the ground up. And there's nothing like, I mean, you take a lot more pride too when you're building something of your own versus helping somebody else. It's like when you work for somebody else, right? That's where it's like, oh, I don't want to work for the man because I'm helping them build their empire, and you want to, you know, build your own. It's just different. So they'll show up differently again if they're working for you or if they're working for on their own business. They're going to show up more for working on their own business. 110%.
What are some mental barriers you see commonly with these real estate investors that you've coached?
Yes, that's an awesome question. I will say the two things that women come to me for are accountability. They need somebody to hold them accountable, and self-confidence. I have women that have wanted to get into real estate for 10 years. And, oh, I'm going to try. And then fear of failure, fear of rejection, you know, that pops in. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know how to talk to these sellers. I don't know how to analyze these deals. You know, something holds them back. They've educated themselves via Bigger Pockets, YouTube, you know, a million different ways. But then when it comes to actually taking action on it, they're frozen, right? Analysis paralysis, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, so it's the self-confidence. It's the, this is a totally new thing. And it's even women that are like uber successful in their W-2s, you know, they're climbing a corporate ladder, they've killed it, but then you turn and go to something brand new, like real estate investing. And they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And this is really scary. And so you got to build up their self-confidence. And so helping them do that through education and actually helping them take action, because that's how you build confidence, is through results. You have to see the results, and that helps you build confidence. It shows you can do it. And then the accountability, because if you just leave it to them to do, they're probably not going to do it. But if they have to show up every week and talk to me about how many cold calls they made and how many seller appointments they went on, they're going to do it because they know that I'm going to hold them very, very, very accountable. So those are the top two reasons that, you know, women actually, yes, they want to get educated, but actually a lot of them are pretty educated. That's what they've done, is educated themselves on all the, you know, ins and outs of real estate investing. They just haven't taken the action. They need help with that part.
Do you also help them with building a team?
Yes, definitely. That's a big part of what we do, because the majority of, you know, I would say just people in general, real estate investors, like, you don't want to be working in your business forever. You want to be working on your business. And in order to do that, you have to be able to bring on reliable people, you know, to add to your team. And that is how you scale, right? And so also, it's way more fun to do it with, you know, like-minded individuals. But so, for example, I have this one client, I've been working with her for about 6 months now. She has a full-time job. Her husband has a full-time job, and she put an offer on her, I want to say it's her 6th. I can't even keep track. She's moving so quickly, but her 6th flip. And she started her first new construction project. And that's because she has a really solid team. She has wholesalers that are finding her deals. She has agents that are finding her deals and selling her deals. She has a super reliable contractor who is on top of everything. She has built really good relationships with lenders where she can literally close in a week. You know, she has built a power team. And she tells me all the time, wow, I could not do any of this without my amazing power team. And we needed to make some tweaks to her power team. And, you know, she struggled a little bit with that because she's very loyal. And it's like, hey, it comes down to business. If that person isn't providing you with the value that you need them to, we got to find somebody who does. And I totally appreciate her loyalty, but that's where sometimes we got to take the emotion out of it and we got to think logically about the business, right? But she's doing amazing. And that's because of the team that, you know, we've built around her. It's vital in this business, in my opinion. I've seen people do it on their own or try to do it on their own. It's a very lonely road, and they're like a one project at a time because they find the project, then they have to fund the project themselves, then they have to manage the rehab themselves, then they have to sell it themselves, and then they go, oh crap, I don't have another project lined up. What am I going to do? Right. And so the goal is to have multiple projects going on. That's what we've always had. And that's what I'm helping my coaching clients achieve as well, because that's how you build the portfolios, and that's how you build the wealth, and that's how you build the knowledge, and that's how you scale. And you can work on your business instead of in your business.
And so do you help them figure out some type of hiring criteria when it comes to building a team?
Yeah, absolutely. I have criteria for interviewing VAs, because that's probably the first person that you're going to bring onto your team is a VA to help you with cold calling or admin stuff or whatever else. I have criteria for what type of agents that you should work with as an investor. You should be working with investor-friendly agents that understand how you do business and how you need to buy properties, how you need to act very quickly, right? You can't have an agent that dilly-daddles. I have criteria on how you vet lenders, right? To know what the terms are and how to make sure they're legitimate lenders. I have criteria on how you hire and vet and set up your contractors, right? Writing a contract on a napkin that says paint house $15,000. Yeah, no, that's not going to fly. So, you know, there's certain ways to vet these people. Also, potential partners. People get into a lot of trouble not vetting potential partners because they're trusting of people. And there's certain questions you can ask. There's references you can ask for. I mean, there's way to vet these people so that you can protect yourself and your business. So you want to be building a solid power team around you and not, just one-off Joe Schmoes that say they know what they're doing, but they don't. And that's where a lot of people can get into trouble, is they don't know how to vet all of these people properly. And you bring on a partner that doesn't have your best interest in mind, or a contractor or a lender or whatever, and then before you know it, you're losing money on your projects instead of making money on your projects.
Yes. And so a couple things, you said one-offs. That's exactly what these people will be if you do not vet them properly. And that one-off, if you're blessed, you may end up breaking even, but usually you end up losing money, or they leave halfway through a project or some type of task, right? And when it comes to a future person that you could do a joint venture with, you should date them. Treat them like it's like you're dating them.
Right out of my mouth. Absolutely. Yes, you have to date them, because once you sign a contract, that's like a marriage, right?
It is. It might as well be.
Yes, 100%. That's actually what we used to tell at our women's RIA networking events. When we talk about, networking, like, don't spend all your time talking to one person. Talk to a bunch of people, and the people that you connect with, ask them out on a date, a coffee date, a lunch date, a happy hour date, whatever. And that's where you really connect with them and see if that's a potential, let's do a deal together, or let's work together in some capacity. So yes, 100% date them. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And that was speed dating, when you go to those meetups and, hey, 10 minutes, another 10 minutes with somebody else. And definitely, and it's okay to, respectfully decline when people want to do certain things with you. I ran across a situation like that where somebody wanted to do a joint venture with me, and I could instantly discern, like, this is not somebody who I even want to deal with. Was a friend of the family too. Even still, you're just going to be a headache, man. You're just going to be a headache.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you for not feeling obligated. And that's where also trusting your gut. Your gut speaks to you for a reason, and they'll just, be certain people that you meet. Maybe there's nothing wrong with those people, but if it just doesn't feel like a right vibe, and I'll say that too, when you're looking for somebody to coach and mentor you, don't just look at their experience. date them, talk to them, see if you vibe with them, see if you respect them, see how they've run their business. When I talk to potential coaching clients, we get on either a call or a Zoom for hours sometimes, and I'm like, hey, vet me like you vet a deal. Look me up on my social media. Here's all my websites. Here's ask me any question, because I want them feeling very comfortable with me and how I run my business and how I coach and all of that. And they're like, this is so refreshing. Like, you're so honest. And so, because I'm not trying to sell them anything.
Yeah.
You can sign up or not sign up. That's fine with me. You find somebody else that's a better fit for you. Awesome. Like, I'm not going to push it on you like some of the other coaches or programs do, because it's not about the money for me. It's about, let's work together in building your business. And if we're not a good fit, because I have to vet them too, right?
Yes.
I've said no to people that wanted to coach with me because I felt this, like, same thing as you. I was like, I think this is going to be a little bit of a headache. And, so I vet them, they vet me. It has to be a mutual, vibe and feeling and respect there in order for it to really make sense, so that goes with partnerships and coaches and just all of that. So, yeah.
No, and I like that process, the screening process, not only for you, but for them as well, because as I grow, I'm growing with somebody that I like and I respect. And, I'm looking at your websites, I'm seeing you're doing what you're doing and that you're legit. You're not somebody that's just, hey, I did one deal and it failed and I'm coaching everybody now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot, you have to vet them. Like, you really, if you're not, then you might get yourself in trouble. Just like if you're not vetting your deals properly or what, you know what I mean? You got to dig into, you got to do the analysis part, right?
And sometimes you get lucky because like you said, not vetting the deal properly. I probably, my second duplex that I bought, I did not vet it the way I should have. And the only reason why I got lucky is because inflation over the last 18 months. So sometimes you get lucky with that. Because I'm turning around and I'm selling it. I'm just going to take this win and go and get something that liquidates or cash flows a whole lot better. But sometimes you get blessed, but don't expect that. Make sure you do your due diligence with that.
Yeah.
You talked about, you talk to people for hours. How do you block out your times? How, is it like, hey, for an hour, I'm $10, or is, hey, I block out this amount of time for you and it's like a monthly subscription? It's a meeting by meeting subscription. How does that work when it comes to the coaching?
So when I first am dating, let's say that,
yes.
dating a potential client, typically we've connected through social media, or maybe we've already known each other through some networking events. We hop on a phone call, and that phone call is free. And really the goal of that phone call is for me to learn a little bit about them and for them to learn a little bit about me. And then if they're interested in working together, then I share my coaching programs, the group coaching and the one-on-one. And then they typically decide which one they want to go with, and then they sign up. And so from there, they either join the group coaching where we meet once a week as a group, and we have an 8-week program that we go through. Or if they decide the one-on-one, that's a client-specific program that I craft around each and every one of my clients. So that also means we meet once a week via Zoom. The ones that are local here in Houston, they do have an opportunity to partner with me. And actually, I should say really any of them do, because I'm now partnering with one of my coaching clients in California. She's having me do all of her Houston leads, right? So if you're doing marketing in Houston, we can partner. But we meet once a week. They pay a fee for my coaching. And that varies. I have, discounts and specials and things that I do. Also, I like to craft that around my clients as well. Some of them need more help than others and whatever. So my fees definitely differ depending on client needs. But I'll say that's probably the one thing that sets me apart from the other coaches, based on what all the women have told me, is nobody else is crafting a client specific program, right? They're just kind of like, here's my program and, I'm going to walk you through it. I want to know, what do you want to learn? What are your goals? What are your obstacles? What do you want to build? let's build what you want to build, and let me educate you on what you want to get educated on. So the one-on-one is not a general format at all. It is literally crafted around each client very specifically. And I love it. I think that's how it should be when you do one-on-one coaching. It's about them. They paid me, and let's build what they want to build, right? And so I educate them, but I also, the biggest thing is get them to take action, so that they're talking to sellers, they're going on appointments, we're analyzing deals together. Because like I said before, that was really where they were lagging, was the action taking side of things. So let's take all that education, let's, talk through it, but let's get you taking action. Let's get a marketing campaign launched. Let's get you talking to sellers. Let's get you analyzing deals. Let's get you getting contracts. Let's get you closing deals, So yeah, we build a whole program around each client specifically. So it's really fun because every it's different. I had 3 coaching sessions today, and each one of them are totally different. So it's like never the same every day. And I freaking love it. It's so much fun. And to see each of them blossom individually and build these beautiful businesses the way they want to build them, not the way that I'm telling them to build them. I'm helping guide them, but we're building what they want to build. And it's just really cool to be a part of that.
So it's awesome that you don't give people like a generic template, right? You get something that's very specific. It makes me think of those nutritionists or fitness people that give meal plans, right? And it's not just a generic meal plan. You're giving them a meal plan specifically for their body type, for their goals. And that's what people want. We don't want template generic products anymore. We want relationship specific, I feel like I'm special programs. And so I think you've definitely attacked that. What earlier you talked about y'all were start off as a 6-week program, and now y'all 8-week. What made y'all add the extra 2 weeks?
I just thought for the group, like I wanted more time with the women and I wanted to cover more. We added where we go a lot more in depth on deal analysis. And then we also added the one that we did last night that is about negotiations and sales psychology and money mindset. And I thought that was really important to really go in depth in how you speak to these sellers and how you understand what they're thinking, and also how you're thinking. If you're showing up to this appointment like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? They're going to say no, that's what's going to happen, right? And so your mindset is important, but so is theirs. And so we went really in depth last night, and the women were like, whoa, because nobody really talks about that. They talk about, okay, 70% rule or whatever, you know what I mean? Like basic stuff. And I take it much more in depth on the mindset side of things, because if your mindset is not right, you're not going to be successful at your marketing campaigns, talking to sellers, analyzing deals, negotiating deals, closing deals. All of it kind of crumbles if your mind isn't, in the right place. So we really go in depth there. So I wanted to add just more value to the program for the group coaching. And then the one-on-one, you can do anywhere from 3 months to 6 months with me. So that's different, so I will say that the group coaching is more of a general, we do have each week, this is what we cover because it's group. But we do offer during the sessions together, there's Q&A where they can get one-on-one attention, where they can ask me direct questions about their businesses. So I like to incorporate a little one-on-one coaching into the group coaching as well. So obviously the one-on-one is more expensive because you're getting a program specifically for you, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people will join the group, get their foundation set, and then do the one-on-one with me after the 8 weeks. So then they can really work on scaling their business.
I think it's cool that you talk about sales psychology. That's not really talked about often. And so I can imagine the mental barriers when it comes to that. Just for me, I was talking to one guy I interviewed, Kevin Cho. He was talking to me about, the mental barriers he was going through by knocking on doors, door to door. And just getting pretty much face planted with a bunch of no's. But he figured out, after stuttering through about 4 or 5 different pitches, he figured out how to, properly pitch what he needed to. And even when he got it down perfectly, he still was, was getting rejected, but just getting past those mental barriers. I think that's pretty cool that y'all focus on that, or at least you talk about it, because like we've said before, like, okay, you can know the numbers all day long, but you end up having analysis paralysis, and then actually getting there on the field is a totally different game.
Yeah.
Completely different. At least going in what you need to look for, but it is those OJT or on-job training interactions that you have that it's like, okay, this was not in my book.
Yep. And that's where the real learning happens, right? I didn't really know much about pre-foreclosures when I started door knocking, and 9 months later, I was like a pre-foreclosure expert. And that was all boots on the ground, knocking on doors every single day and talking to people and having them ask me questions and me go, I'll talk to my business partner and I'll get, there was a lot of that, and it happens, but that's how you learn. And, again, it's that action taking that has to happen. And once you start seeing that, am I going to die if somebody says no to me? No, you're not. Right. And what are you going to learn? And then that's where the confidence starts to build. It's like, oh, I can do this. Oh, okay. This wasn't so bad. And even when they say no or slam the door in your face, you're fine. You move on to the next, So yeah, the psychology and the mindset, and just, and also the psychology of who you're talking to and what they're thinking and feeling, and how to tap into that, and connect with them in a different level. I think so many investors just are like, hey, do you want to sell your house? And that's it. And it's like that. Sure. Does that approach work sometimes? Yeah. But is that like a legitimate approach that you should use and can use and like really be successful in your marketing campaign and negotiations? No, like you need to understand the sales psychology behind things. And that's actually, I've learned a lot of that through my coaching program. And how to, talk to people. Like I don't sell anything. I literally don't sell anything. I provide value to people who want it. That's what I do in my real estate investing business and in my coaching business. I don't sell anything. And that's a huge mindset shift, because everybody goes into these businesses going, I don't want to be a used car salesman. Well, guess what? You're not. So I had to work on that, you know what I mean? But when you look at it from that perspective, and I provide value, and instead of selling, the no's are easier to take. And, not everybody is going to want your value, and that's okay. Right. But then you spend time with those that do.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned that too. It kind of, not going to say the word sleazy, but it makes people feel like this person cares about me. Like they're not just trying to figure out how they can, get money out of me. And it's in particular, right, what I was referring to earlier was wholesaling. When you provide options for people, opportunities, some type of value, like you said, it kind of allows that person to open up a little bit more. And, you'd be surprised what people are willing to tell you about what they got, going on in their lives, and then how you can, figure it out. I remember in the last time you was on here, you was telling me you weren't even getting any commission from referring people to help. It was this program that you were referring people to, or this company that you were referring people to help them find other homes. Like, I think you said you wasn't even making anything off of that. You was just doing it because it was the right thing to do, and you were providing value.
Yeah. Yeah. And that still is the case. Like my relocation specialist, like I don't get paid anything when they find somebody a home. It's just simply they're part of my team. And it's the thing is they are providing me value, because when I can tell a homeowner, guess what? I can help you find a new home. They're like, oh my gosh, Misty, where do I sign? You know what I mean? Because that's their biggest fear is, well, if I sell you my house, where do I go? And so if I can provide a solution to that problem, they will more likely sign with me. If I couldn't provide that solution, they might go with somebody else. So am I getting paid directly from the relocation specialist? No, but I'm getting paid on that deal because I can, I get to provide that as an additional like service to the people that work with me. So, it's just, again, I love to help in a variety of ways. So yeah, no, it all is a circle, right? It all, comes back.
Oh,
around.
Yeah, it does. And it definitely has for you. Where do you see the your coaching business go moving forward? What is the next level you want to do with it?
Good question. I mean, I definitely want to, grow both the group and the one-on-one. I love building this community of women within the group coaching. I would like to start coaching men, I think, to just, I don't know, because I mean, there's men out there too that want to start real estate investing. I mean, why not? And I've even explored, even just working with entrepreneurs in general, because the whole entrepreneurial side of this and being a business owner is such a learning curve, and it's such a mindset, like, oh, I mean, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You think,
Yeah,
oh,
you're right.
I was doing really well in corporate, and so this is going to be easy. I'm a high achiever. I'm a hustler. There is such a shift, a huge learning curve, and it really screws with your head for a while if you don't know how to manage it. And so I thought, or I'm thinking that I could possibly also do some mindset coaching for entrepreneurs, so that they stay on track mindset wise, and continue pushing forward and building whatever business it is. I don't necessarily need to know how to build their business with them, but I can help them with the mindset side of things. So I don't know. Obviously, I have a strong connection with real estate investors because I totally get it with them. But I would love to reach more people and help more people achieve. I'm kind of on this, I'm creating a life I love living, and I would love to help others do the same in a professional and personal, space. So they don't have to be a real estate investor, but if they have a dream of, starting a podcast or something like that, you know what I mean? And just being an entrepreneur in some capacity, why not help them, with the mindset side of it, if I can, or if that's something they need help with, just to impact more people and help more people build a life they love living. I just think that's a beautiful way to live my life. And if I can help others, like, let's do it,
It's awesome, and I love the enthusiasm about it too. That's what really drew me to you. I will say this: the reason why it is hard for a lot of people that are very successful in corporate to switch over to entrepreneurship is because in corporate America, or even like in the military, there's a structure, right? There's like, first I start off as a clerk, now I'm a supervisor, then I'm a manager. There's this pipeline, right? And you get told pretty much how you can make it to that next level. There's usually a very, very small amount of options on how to make it to that next level, because this business has its rules and its pipeline. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, there's so many different ways that you can slice a pie, and that kind of boggles a lot of people's mind, because we're kind of institutionalized on, hey, well, shouldn't it be this one way and I should be successful once I do it this way? Like, no, there are tons of different ways you can be successful in this, and you just have to go out there and explore it. And I mean, I look at it from a positive aspect. Thank God there are a lot of different ways I can be successful in this business, or in any type of business, versus there being one or two ways. Because maybe, what if those one or two ways doesn't fit me, my personality?
Right.
So once they figure that part out, like building their team, because I'm better at crunching numbers. Amira is better at talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you kind of figure out what every strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is what happens is, because there are so many different ways and so many things that you need to be doing to build this business, you get overwhelmed very easily and very quickly. And I remember feeling that when we started. It was like, holy moly, like you said about I was so used to this structure of like, okay, these are the hours that I work. These are my responsibilities. This is my role. Like, it was actually clearly defined, HR manager. It was just like, it all made sense. And then we got thrown into real estate investing, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? What's my role? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to, wait, what? Like, it was so confusing and overwhelming. And like, you don't have set hours. So you have to be very like diligent, and you have, could you screw off one day and what? Sure, absolutely. But it's like, some people will take it to the extreme of like, oh, I'm my own boss. And everybody always thinks that when you're an entrepreneur, you never work. And I'm like, are you kidding? I work now more than I've ever worked, but I also don't consider it work. I don't even like to use the word work, because I don't feel like it's work. I feel like I'm building an empire. I feel like I'm building a beautiful life. I feel, so it's just, it is such a mindset shift. And most people do not anticipate, they're not ready for like what is about to go through their mind and like what's about to happen. And so really understanding that and helping somebody through that in the beginning, like I wish I would have had somebody to help me understand that earlier on when we did this. And, it is what it is. And I had somebody help me halfway through, but it was like, man, if I would have had somebody right from the get-go, where would we be? I don't know. And wouldn't change a thing because we went through what we went through for a reason.
Yes.
But you have that opportunity to help people out the gate, or even just people that have struggled for a while and are about to give up. I just think that would be a really incredible opportunity, and to have more people building a life that they love and really achieving their goals and their dreams. I mean, that's like a dream come true world, right? So I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned on where Misty takes the coaching.
Yeah, word. And that's what I was going to ask. Speaking of coaching, I was going to ask you too. So where can people find you for coaching? Because I want people to find you and to, ask you for your services and, get vetted. So.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm on Facebook. I need to get on Instagram and LinkedIn. I that's like on my to-do list. But I am on Facebook, Misty Flanagan. You can find me. That's where I connect with almost all of my coaching clients, even people that are investors with us and partners with us. And then if you want to check out my group coaching website, it is hermindsetmattersrei.com. And so that will show you kind of what my group coaching is. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, just reach out to me. We'll set up a call and we can talk through everything, get to know each other, all that stuff. So you can email me also at misty@guidewayinvestmentpartners.com. So those are the best ways to get in touch with me. Probably Facebook is the easiest. And that way you can see all the cool stuff I do too, because I have all my business pages. I'm like, this is me, vet me, please.
And that's what I was gonna ask you too.
Yeah.
Tell us, because we talked about, you making the subdivisions. Please tell us your other businesses as well, just, what their names are and website.
Yeah, for sure. So Elevated Development is our new construction and development firm. And that's www.elevateddevelopment.co. So not .com, .co. So there you can see what kind of projects we're doing. Definitely reach out to us. We are an investor-friendly builder. We don't do custom homes. We work with investors who are wanting to build to sell, build to rent, that sort of thing. And we also do some remodeling for investors as well. So if you need some rehabs done for, maybe a rent ready rehab, or you're looking for a contractor, turnkey contractor to do your flips, we have a company called Level Up Remodeling. So those are the two main companies where we really team up with other investors and either build or flip properties. And then I also wholesale deals too. So if you're in the Houston area, you are having trouble wholesaling a deal, I have a great buyers list. And so reach out to me for that too. I love joint venturing with others if it makes sense. So, yeah.
Awesome, Misty. Well, it's been a great pleasure. I love the fact that you came back on our show. Also, always love your energy too. You're so positive. So
thank you. I mean, hey, I'm living a pretty amazing life. And has it been easy for the last 5 years? No, absolutely not. But I will tell you, when you really tap into your mindset and, kind of rewire your brain a little bit with a lot of this stuff, it's pretty incredible what you can push through and what you can do and what you can build. And that's really what I'm feeling the last couple of years. And that's why I want to help others get to this place, because I literally feel like anything is possible, like no joke. And I used to think that was kind of silly when people would say that. I'm like, come on, and I'm like, no, I literally feel like the sky is the limit. And that's a pretty awesome way to wake up every day and live your life. So let's let everybody live and feel this way.
Well, thank you, Misty. It's been a pleasure. Definitely looking forward for this episode to post. So I'll definitely let you know when it does, and we'll be, marketing the hell out of it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the invite back. I always love hanging with you guys and supporting you guys and love what you do. So thank you so much for everything that you do for our community as well, and love being a part of the team.
Thank you for sticking with us from the start of the episode. Please share our show with friends and family, visit our YouTube channel, and view more of our content on richstateofmind.com. See you next week on the Rich State of Mind Show.